Well, I'm on a last-minute camping trip in the Ouachita National Forest. We kind of decided at the last minute just to head out. My wife had something going on this weekend with my daughters, so we decided to hit the road and find a campsite. Sun's setting. We left around 3:30, I think. So we're just now getting here, and we're right off a Forest Service road. Show you around camp a little bit. Like I said, right off the road. We are going to get supper started. Nice creek down the hill. Not a bad spot. Just looking for a level spot, really. You can tell we got the trailer with us this time, and I'm going to show you around the trailer in the morning. But going to get supper started and try to get this done before the sun sets. Well, Dolly and I have already been up and gone for a little walk, and we saw a family of otters getting their breakfast this morning. I stood there and watched those guys for 15 or 20 minutes and I finally just left so I wouldn't disturb them. I'm going to get coffee going, and then I want to show you our trailer. I built this trailer a few years ago. just to bring more gear when we go camping, mainly when Tina and I go camping. And that's what I'm working on now, trying to get things a little more comfortable for Tina, so she'll go with me a little bit more. Now this setup is not going to replace my dome tent. I really don't like pulling the trailer, but it really makes sense when Tina and I are both going together. So let me get coffee going and we'll look at the trailer. Well, I've got coffee started, so let me take a few minutes and I'll show you around the trailer. It's a 3-foot by 5-foot utility trailer that we purchased from Lowe's 2 or 3 years ago. Can't really remember exactly how long it's been. Started out with the small tires, small fenders. The very first thing I did was did a spring over. Move the springs from under. I think my coffee's boiling over. There we go, making a mess. Okay, started out life as a Lowe's trailer. The very first thing that I did was did a spring over, and the springs were under the axle. I just flipped it over and put the springs on top of the axle, give it a few inches of lift. Cut the old fenders off. Found these fenders on eBay and welded those. Really just welded those right to the angle iron support on the top, and then anywhere it contacted the trailer frame, I welded it there. Now I want to start out by saying I am not a welder. If you see my welds, you'll know, but I can stick metal together, so I don't claim to be a welder. I put 1.5 inch wheel spacers behind the wheels to push them out to give me enough clearance to put these 35 1250s on without rubbing the trailer frame. The tires are old tires that were on the silver Jeep. When I got new tires, I held on to them and I used them for this trailer. I planned on building the trailer, so I just hung on to the tires. Same bolt pattern as the Jeep, so the spare will fit the trailer or the Jeep. Let's see, this is not my idea, but it was a very good idea. The trailer, it's got a lift gate that lifts out, and it's got like I said, I saw this on another video, but you can see these pins. These are 1/2 inch bolts that I've actually drilled a hole and welded the bolt to underside of the angle iron frame on the top of the trailer, drilled holes in the lift gate, and now the lift gate doubles as a table. Which anytime you can do double duty on something, you know, you're just saving yourself space and being a little more productive. Let's see, I moved these angle iron braces. I think I added one and moved another one to help support the roof rack, which I built out of 1 inch by 2 inch square tubing. I think I had to move, I think this piece of angle iron was actually closer to the front, and it was in the way of the fender, so I had to move it anyway, but it worked out good. Now I did make the roof rack with the intention of possibly putting a rooftop tent on it one day. So the tie downs that I made to hold a canoe or kayaks or whatever, I put them horizontally instead of vertically, so they would clear a tent if it overhung a little bit, and it does, and it worked good. So that's pretty much the trailer. It's small, but I've got a short wheelbase Jeep with not much towing capacity, so it works. Anywhere that Jeep goes so far, the trailer will go too. And we've had it down some pretty rough places. We've towed it all over the state of Arkansas, and we've taken it to the beach. Don't use it often, but when Tina and I are going camping for an extended period, or really when we're going together, we usually have the trailer with us because we just can carry more gear. When you have two people, you just have twice the gear, twice the food, twice the clothes. Sleep setup has to be bigger, everything. And I like it when Tina goes with me, so I try to make it comfortable for her. I don't mind sleeping on the ground. She's not a big fan of it. So we usually carry a big tent and an air mattress. And that's what the rooftop tent is for. We're hoping to replace that setup and try to get our setup and breakdown times a little quicker. That is pretty much, I'm trying to think if I've missed anything on the trailer. Now I do have some improvements to make, but this is experiment. This rooftop tent, it may not work for us. So before I go too crazy on the trailer, we're going to make sure that this setup works. So this is the very first night I've ever taken it out. I just got it mounted yesterday, or day before yesterday. So we'll get it dialed in and see if it's going to work. And if it does, we're going to continue to modify the trailer to make it a little more capable and a little nicer. That's pretty much it. I'm going to get some coffee going and or drink a cup of coffee, and then we'll and clean up my mess that I made and try to think of anything that I'm leaving out. I know the rooftop tent, I'll tell you a little bit about the tent after I have a cup of coffee. Okay, let's talk about the tent a little bit. You know, like I said, just trying to get a little more mobile. When Tina and I both go together camping, we have room for all our gear and a comfortable sleep setup that breaks down and sets up relatively quickly. This does really well. I would like to say I ordered, or I thought I was ordering, the regular tent. This is a Smittybilt Overlander Generation 2, and I think there's some upgrades. I think the major upgrades are the ladder. The Generation 1 ladder sticks. This ladder is supposed to be a lot smoother, and it has been so far. And I think the Generation 1, the cover velcros. When you get the tent put away, there's a cover that goes on it. I think that cover velcros. This one zippers. There were some complaints about the velcro not lasting, so they went with a zipper on the Generation 2. They still sell the Generation 1. It's a little bit cheaper, couple hundred bucks. Now, when I bought this tent, I thought I was getting the regular. They make a regular with a full-size mattress, and they make this one, which is the XL, and it's king size. Okay, I didn't realize until I had it unboxed and on the trailer that I had the XL. And since I've got it unboxed, I think the XL is going to work better for us sleeping wise. The reason I wanted just the regular with the full size is the trailer, like I said before, the trailer is really small, and this tent overhangs the front and rear a little bit. Not bad. I mean, it's not bad enough to take back or to send back. And I think after sleeping in it for a night, I'm glad I made that mistake. Now, when I looked at the description when I bought it, it never said XL, so I assumed I was buying the regular version. But when I went back and looked after the fact, the dimensions are the XL dimensions, so that's really on me. But I got it cheap. This tent was a little over $1,400. When I say cheap, I mean relatively cheap when you look at the rooftop tent world. The research that I did on this tent, this is pretty much the go-to entry-level rooftop tent. Most of the people that stick with the rooftop tent seem to migrate to one with a little faster setup and breakdown time, and everything's going to hard shell. This is a soft shell, which means it has a soft cover that goes over the tent when it's packed away. My initial impression are really good. I think I'll get quicker setting it up and breaking it down as I do it more often. My favorite thing about the tent last night, I mean, I had a great night's sleep. Now, The reason this may be a problem is getting in and out of it, going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Now you have to negotiate a ladder, and that's just one extra thing to have to do. And I don't think it's going to be that big a deal, but it may be a deal breaker for my wife. We'll see. But like I was saying, my favorite thing about this tent this morning when I woke up, you're elevated so you get a little bit better view. This is where my head was on this end here, so when I woke up this morning and looked out, I had that view there of the creek. You get a little bit better view. You're off the ground. You don't have to worry about rocks under your tent. Really, the only thing you have to worry about before you start setting it up is you got to make sure you're level. And that's really not that big a deal. You can stack rocks, or I've seen people use traction boards or whatever under the trailer tire to kind of level it up. Like I said before, if we keep using this, if this setup works for us and we keep using it, I'll probably modify the trailer with some more supports so that we can unhook the trailer and leave the tent and go exploring in the Jeep. But that remains to be seen. We're not sure we're going to stay with this, so I want to put this thing away, and I'll show you at the end of the video what it looks like all put away. Now, I'm not going to film myself breaking it down because I am extremely slow right now. I don't want to tear anything up, and it's just a learning process, but I think once I do it a few times, it'll just get quicker and quicker. Love the tent so far. I think we're going camping next weekend, Tina and we're going camping for a couple nights, and we'll see how she likes it. So probably going to do a video on that, and I'll give you her first impressions when we go camping on that trip. But let me get it the tent put away, and we just about have camp broke. You can kind of see what I'm talking about the overhang. The XL is about 20 inches longer or wider at the bed than the standard version, and that means about the 10 inches of overhang that I have on each end would be gone. So the regular version, I think it's 54 inches is the bed width, so it would have really fit nicely on the trailer. But I think the XL is going to be more comfortable, and it's not terrible. I mean, it rides up there pretty good. I think the standard version would have looked better, but this doesn't look bad, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable. What a great night's sleep I had in the new tent, and the Otters this morning were a bonus. It was just a great short camping trip. I'm going to wrap this one up. If you have any questions about the tent or the trailer, just post them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks for watching.